seminar.
The language 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 seminar. The language seminar.
Say a prayer for us in the Spanish language. Priscilla, I'm ready when you are.
Okay, please, I'm ready.
All right.
Okay, so please, let's close our eyes as I pray. Padre nuestro que está en los cielos, te damos gracias por este hermoso día. Te damos gracias por tu gracia, favor y misericordia sobre nuestras vidas. Tu palabra dice que donde dos o más están y reúnen en tu nombre, tú estás en medio de ellos. Así que rezo que vengas y tomes el control absoluto sobre este seminario y lo hagas un éxito. Estas y muchas otras cosas que le pedimos a través de nuestro Señor Jesucristo. Amén.
Amen. 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 So thank you very much, Priscilla, for this wonderful prayer. All what I heard is coming. Gracias, gracias, mucho gracias. Okay, so moving on, I would like to invite Miss Hetty to give us a brief, quick introduction about, or like background, brief us about what B-Proficient is about, and then also to talk a little on the language seminar, the mission of B-Proficient. Miss Hetty.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. So I'm sharing my screen and then we can over. Can you all see my screen? Please, you can unmute and then respond, okay?
Yes, please, you can see it.
Okay.
Yes, please, you can see.
All right. So when we talk about Be Proficient, what's Be Proficient? I'm sure since we started, we've all seen blogs and other things going around and everything. I'd like to be more interactive. So you can just unmute yourself if I ask a question and then you can respond. I hope that's all right.
All right.
Okay, so Be Proficient is intended to be a helpful resource for all language learners and provide invaluable resources and tactics to help you attain fluency. So we are looking at how you can be proficient or how you can be fluent in your target language, whatever language you are learning. How can you be proficient? How can you be fluent? You know, there are some, if you are learning a language, there are some tricks and techniques that you have to get so that you can get it. And mostly when students don't get it, it makes the language then very difficult for them. So that's why we came up with Be Proficient, just to help you. It's not really intended to teach you the language, but it's really helping you to be fluent. We are giving you the resources and the tricks and all that. All right. Okay. All right. So our mission is to provide you with tips, as I said, for a successful learning journey into the study of foreign languages and ultimately to be proficient in them. So what I do, since we started as a blog site, we share my mistakes, study guides, approach to listening, approach to speaking, communication, even how you do presentations in your target language and, and all that. So for the seminar, the reason why we came up with the seminar is that people have questions. Lots of people have questions when it comes to language learning. They have fears. So can I be fluent? Can I do this? They have a lot of questions and doubts. And then it seems as if we don't tackle those ones. We are just always hitting on, come and learn the language, learn this, learn grammar, learn that. But people are struggling, You can all attest to the fact that you have some struggles. We all had those struggles when we were coming up, all right? So people have those struggles. People have those problems. So we both Habib and I came together to design this language seminar to help, first of all, help students to overcome their fears, doubts, and obstacles, get their questions answered, let them feel encouraged to persist in their language learning efforts, and acquire practical tips and strategies to make learning easier, and also to share, success stories and then progress. All right. So, how many of you know me personally? Let me see your hand if you know me personally. Let me see. Only 2 people. Okay.
And
1, 2, 3, 4. 6 people know me personally. Wow, this is serious. I thought I was that popular. No, that's a joke. So, if you know me, my name is Henrietta Adekum. I schooled at the University of Ghana. I started with French, Spanish, and then political science. But when I got to level 200, I dropped political science and I pursued in French and Spanish. I pursued French and Spanish. Right now, I'm doing my master's at Baylor University in the US. I'm furthering in Spanish, okay? So that's the reason why, we don't really have so much success, but at least what we have been able to do, we just want to help others to also get there, all right? That's why I partnered with Habib, who is also very, able when it comes to language. He also did, follow the same path, and then we want to do this for you. So moving forward, this is what we want to do. Okay, just before the speaker comes in, I just want to tell you what we want to do. So we want to start our YouTube channel very soon, and it's going to come this month, where we know we've already started with the blogs and all, but we believe that people don't really like reading, and they like to watch. At least even if they don't watch, they can play and then be listening while they do other things other than reading. So we want to create a YouTube channel and help give all these tips, and also maybe we can also tackle pronunciations, okay, and the speaking aspect. Yeah, that's what it's on our hearts really as B-Proficient, the speaking aspect. So we'll tackle that. So that's what we have in store for you. So we have learning content, not so much of that, but we also have fun content coming up. And there's also a partnership going on with Oniva. We are planning on something especially for French students, especially for French students with Mr. Said. And so be looking up for it. We'll release it very soon. We also plan to have chat rooms where a lot of people say you don't have people to practice with. So you have people who you can practice with, because our goal is to help you to be proficient or to be fluent, okay? And fluency comes with practice. Also, we have some challenges. So sometimes reading challenge, we can put like $30 be on it. So if you can be able to read, maybe we put rules on it, or if you can do this, then you read that award. So be looking forward to that. And then we also intend to have personalized coaching. So if you have any problems, if you think you are struggling, you can feel free to DM me. And then we will see how we can help you with your language journey. I hope that's all right. So yes, enjoy the session, and then we will see you at the end. All right.
all right.
Thank you.
All right, Henrietta. Thank you very, very much for this background. So, hello everyone. Can you please take your phones for a short exercise? I don't know if you saw the socials, the flyer for the socials for B-Proficient. Can you subscribe? I don't know. Henrietta, can you please share
Okay,
your
let me
screen for
share.
this? Okay. So as she said, the YouTube channel the videos for the YouTube channel will be dropping at the end of this month. So kindly subscribe and then set the notification so that as soon as we drop the video, you'll be the first person to watch it. And then also B-Proficient is on LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, and then Instagram. So follow us, and then when you are done, drop in the group done or joined or subscribe or whatever you want, right? So 1
Okay.
minute for that. Okay. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so over to you, Hetty, to introduce the main speaker for the seminar.
Okay, so we have come to the point where we feed on knowledge. It's time to listen to why we came here. So the speaker has been a friend, not so much of a friend because we didn't start together. But his name is Habib, Abdul-Nasir Habib, and I think he did linguistics, French and Spanish, and then he dropped it and continued with French and Spanish. So Habib went for a year abroad, okay? So Habib went to Spain, where he studied for a year and then came back. So when he came back, he joined my class. So he was a year ahead of me, and then he joined my class. And then so we graduated together, and he was the valedictorian of the whole, so it's not small. It means that he really is really like, you get it. So we are honored to have him here to speak with us today. And right now he is furthering his studies at Wisconsin University. The other name I can't mention because it's very when it comes, you mention it. So let's give a round of applause and reactions to Habib as I hand over to him. Hola, Habib. Te dejo.
Hola. Good morning to you all. Buenos dias. Bonjour. I don't know what time is it in Ghana. It is 11:40 thereabouts. I would have loved to greet all of you in all the Ghanaian languages, but those who have heard me speak Tree before would testify that my Tree is horrible. So yeah, but I mean, that is language, right? If you don't learn a language, then there's no way you can be able to communicate to.
Habib,
You
I
can be
can
able
as
to
well ask
connect.
you that. Can you be fluent in Tree?
But I mean, I'm trying. What is left?
Right.
What is left is for me to get one a can lady, and everything will be fine. But good morning to you all. I am honored to be speaking on the topic for this seminar. First of all, I would like to say thank you, a big thank you to the organizer, the brain behind B-Proficient and the brain behind this seminar. That's Miss Henrietta. For those of you who know Henrietta, you know that she's one passionate language student, always wanting to learn, always wanting to improve. I cannot forget her participation in the Spanish club where she sang in Spanish. She did a lot of things in Spanish, and she was always there, right, to help the young students. And I think that this is something that is commendable, and hopefully we continue that way. She brought up this idea so that she can help all of us who are learning languages. I mean, we never stop to learn. We never stop learning. That's what I wanted to say, right? So at any level at all that you are, you can listen to someone and then you learn something new, or you relearn, or you get to know that, oh, this strategy is better than what I had. And that is how you improve. So I am honored. I am Abdul-Nasir Habib. Henrietta is my classmate. We completed in 2022, even though our graduation came in 2023. Right now we are fortunate to be in the United States, where she is in Baylor University, I think, and I am in the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. So we are here. We are all Spanish students, masters, and we are all teaching assistants. So this all comes with a lot of learning, a lot of experience, and this is what we are here to share with you all today. Once again, let me thank our MC too, Miss Veronica. I think you are really doing a great job, and hopefully we'll get more and more of you. This seminar will be very successful if all of you paid a lot of attention and if all of you asked a lot of questions, right? Because we are all individuals with our different challenges. And so if you don't present the challenge that you have, there may not be solutions for you. So I encourage all of you, whether as I am presenting or after my presentation, if you don't want us to hear your angelic voices, you can just type your questions and then we'll try to answer them. All right, Henrietta.
Ok, voy a subir la pantalla. ¿Dónde está? Vale. Vamos.
All right, so this is the
Wait.
language seminar, and and I am presenting. I've already mentioned my name, Abdul-Nasir Habib. My name is Abdul-Nasir, but people find it so difficult to mention it, especially if they are not Muslims. And so I just say, go call me Habib, which is my surname, but I prefer Habib everywhere I go, right? So let's move on to the next slide. All right, so our table of content, what we are going to see in this seminar is that we are going to mention a few objectives for the seminar. We are going to look at false expectations, right? When someone is learning a language, the things that they think that, oh, these things can happen within 24 hours, 48 hours, a week or a month. We are going to look at that and analyze and see if these are really things that can happen in a real life, right? Because when you go online, you would see a lot of such things. We are going to really understand what fluency is and how to achieve fluency, any level of fluency at all. We are going to see if achieving fluency is possible or it is just a myth, something that's not possible, that's not realistic. And we are going to be hearing from all of you. We want to hear what your experience is, what questions you have, or if someone asks a question and you think that you have an answer, you would have the opportunity to provide your answer. Maybe your answer may just be the best solution for the person. That's one. So I think that Miss Hetty, by the end of the seminar, we are anticipating that all participants would be able. Are you there, Hetty? Okay, so by the end of the seminar, we are hoping that all of us understand the myth and the reality surrounding language fluency. We hope that you appreciate the importance of mastering your first language before you learn any other language, because it helps a lot. We are hoping that you know what it means to be fluent, the basic steps to achieving fluency. And there will be an opportunity, as Miss Hetty and Miss Veronica mentioned, to be part of a cohort, a group of participants who are going to receive support, right? Resource support, either via YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, right? So this is what basically we are going to look at. Okay, so I have a question before we even start. As a language student, can I be fluent? You can type your answer, you can say it if you want. Can I be fluent? No, maybe, yes. All right. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. Yes. Okay. Okay, muy bien. Yes. Yes. Okay. So what the trend I'm seeing is, yes, I'm yet to see no, which means that there's hope in everyone that, no, look, I'm going to be fluent at when, but there's always a but, right? We are going to look at how we can achieve it, because it's not just saying it, but it is working towards it to make sure that you wanting to be fluent, it becomes a reality, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
¿Qué pasa? Okay.
So there's a controversy around fluency, really. When you Google something, you see things like learn a language in 24 hours. All right. So that is the title. Then you click and then you watch the person explain, or you read what the person has written, or something like how to be fluent in 7 days. Okay. So if you start learning on a Friday, by next Friday, you are fluent. All right. So maybe I can try this one with tree, right? I'll start learning tree today. So that by next Friday, I am fluent in. It doesn't work that way. How to become fluent in Russian in 1 month.
Hey.
For those of you who study Russian, you know how difficult that language is. How can you be fluent in 30 in Russian? All right, so these are things that you'd see online, and then if you are someone who doesn't really analyze things, you say, oh, okay, let me follow the steps. I promise you 1 month will come and you can't say even one full sentence. All right, it doesn't work that way. Speak Chinese like a native in 3 months.
Hey.
So, I mean, we all know Chinese, right? And even the tone, the intonation, and stuff like that, before you get it, it will be more than 3 months, right? So how are you going to speak Chinese like a native, all right, in 3 months? How to learn.
Have you seen there's one of them, sorry to interrupt, there's one of them that's like, learn a language while sleeping.
Wow.
How to learn French in 2 months. That is another another controversy, right? But these are things that we see online. These are things that we read, we watch, and the person will try to justify how he was able to do it or she was able to do it. But the reality is that you need at least 6 months of dedication, of hard work to achieve any level of proficiency. Let's say even the lowest level of proficiency, you need 6 months. And that is if the language you are learning is close enough to the language you already speak. So imagine someone who can speak French as a first language, and the person is learning Spanish. Spanish is close enough to French, so it is possible that the person may be able to achieve the lowest level of proficiency in 6 months, right? Imagine someone learning maybe, let's say, Arabic that has nothing to do with English. How does someone move from my name is Hetty to become Anna Hetty, which is Arabic, and speak the language fluently in those instances? I mean, 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever that we've mentioned. It is not possible. So you need at least 2 years of learning a language seriously, right, to achieve any level of proficiency in that language. If that language is a distant language, it doesn't share a lot of characteristics with the language you already speak. All right, so let's move on, Ms. Hetty. So we have to admit that the word fluency itself, or the expression be fluent, is vague. It doesn't, what does it mean to be fluent, right? How should I speak so that someone can say, oh, he's really fluent? Mind you, it is not just repeating words or speaking even with mistakes that means that you are fluent. We have people like that can speak English so fast, but with a lot of mistakes. Does that mean that the person is fluent? No, but we have people who speak so slowly, but with minimum mistakes, right? So these are things so the word fluency is vague. It is not universally accepted by everyone that, okay, this is what it means. So we are trying to respond to or explain to this, give our own meaning to what we consider as fluency. When someone can have a basic conversational skill, right? You can speak with someone, right? Miss Veronica in greeting all of us said that she couldn't say something, I think in Spanish, she said. So here, the basic conversational skill is missing. Miss Veronica can speak Twi, I cannot. So I cannot be said to be anywhere near to getting to the level of fluency, any basic level of fluency, right? So to have basic conversational skills is already, it means that you are in the process of getting to the lowest level of proficiency. Now, again, we ask ourselves, sounding like an educated native speaker, is that what fluency is? Or you don't necessarily have to sound like a native speaker. Mind you, when a native speaker is speaking English, even English that we are speaking right now, it may be difficult for you to understand, right? When a native speaker is speaking Spanish, it may be difficult for you to understand, you, the Spanish learner, or French, or Chinese, or whatever, right? But does that also mean that you really have to get to the level of a native speaker before we can say that you're fluent? I don't think so. I don't think so. So these two things that I mentioned, anything in between them can also be called proficiency. The basic conversation or sounding like an educated native speaker, and anything in between them, you are fluent, right? But it's just that you are on a different level of fluency. Now, I'm trying to make you really understand the importance of knowing your first language. In this case, because we are from Ghana or countries that speak English, mostly what we use as our first language is not, right? Is our language of instruction, the one we use at school, the one we are taught. If it is mathematics, you speak English. If it is science, if it is geography, whatever, you speak English. So we are using English as our basic of measurement, right? Let's go, Ms. Shanta. Okay, so we are going to look at how well we know our English, but also after that, you have to think, those of you who speak Tree, how well do you know your Tree? How well do you know your Fanti? I know that Tree and Fanti are close languages, right? How well do you know your Ga or Yoruba, which are also close languages, right? How well do you know the Hausa that you speak? And many others, right? Many other languages have mentioned them, right? Dagomba, Sisala, those languages. How well do you know them? Okay, let's go. Okay, so in doing so, I'm trying to let us analyze these, whether they are sentences or just short expressions. We are going to see which ones are correct, which ones are wrong, and then we tell why they are wrong or correct. So here I would need volunteers. The first one, that's difficult. Is it a correct sentence? Is it wrong? Why? Anyone?
His hand is up.
Yeah, Kizzy, let's go.
It's wrong because there's that with the apostrophe and then the S, and then it's you either remove one, so you have to choose one. Either you say that is difficult or that's it.
Great. So you would see that the contracted s, right, over there is already the verb is. So the verb is repeated twice here. So just like Kizzy explained, you rule one of them, you take is out, or you take apostrophe and s out. The second question, the second sentence, I don't know, expression.
Explain you. Amanda's hand is up. Priscilla.
Yeah,
Yes,
Amanda, let's go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can.
please.
Okay, so we are it's wrong. We are supposed to put it. It is supposed to precede the is, so it is not easy.
Mhm.
Then it is my girl's turn, so that the arm which is contracted, we can take the am away, and then it will be I'm excited,
Okay.
or we can remove the contracted M and then it will be I am excited.
Great. You are right. So the pronoun is missing. And this is something that I notice about a lot of girls when they are posting on social media,
My
on
girls.
WhatsApp, on WhatsApp. Well, especially the second one, right? Especially the second one. I watch people's statuses, and what I see is, hey, is my girl's turn, or like maybe her friend is getting married. Yeah, something like that. Is my girl's turn, or not knowing that. Well, I don't know if it is the social media laziness where we tend to omit some things, we don't include them, or it is a genuine mistake. The people do not know what it means. Whatever be the case, we need the pronoun it before it can make any sense. And over here, again, we need to make it I am or am, something like that. Okay, what about this, the third one? Any mistake with the third one? Is it correct? Yeah, Priscilla?
Yes, Priscilla. Please, it's correct.
Great, that is correct. So I just
Yes,
placed that one over there so that you may be tempted to say that it is wrong. Okay, the fourth one.
Amanda.
Amanda, yeah.
Okay, so the fourth one is wrong because
Okay.
we have subject. There need to be a subject verb agreement, and there is no agreement here. So if our problems is plural, it has to be there are many problems here.
Mhm.
and it is saying that there is a problem here. So there's a problem with it, and that is the is, which is not agreeing with.
Great. Thank you very much. And it is wrong. It is correct, right? What you said, I mean, not the sentence. The sentence is wrong. I'm looking forward to see you. Yes, John.
Right, that's wrong.
Okay.
It's
Why?
supposed to be, I'm looking forward to seeing you. So whenever the phrasal verb looking forward is used in a sentence, it's used to be, it needs to, go with a verb in the gerund form, the IN form. So I am looking forward to seeing you,
Okay,
rather than
that's
to
great.
see you.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. And I think that we have a lot of English professors in this seminar.
Yes, yes.
Right. We went to good schools.
And I have 25 years. What about that one?
It's enough.
That's a wrong statement because a person can't have an age. The person, it's supposed to be I am 25 years old, unless it's another language that you can improvise with some. For example, in Spanish, you can use tengo 19 años. That's fine. But then in English, you can't say I have 25 years
All
yet.
right. Yeah, I mean, before I even comment on the error in it, I'm happy that Esinam gave us her age. Tengo 19 años. So we already know that Esinam is 19 years now. So thank you very much, Esinam. Yes, but dependent, right? So here there's a problem with translation. Let's say someone who already speaks Spanish, tengo, which means to have, trying to translate into English could say, I have 25 years, which is wrong. So in French too, they say I have, j'ai 25 ans, but in English, it is I am, right? Okay, great. Miss Hetty?
Alrighty. Hey, ¿qué pasa, joven? Am I in the right place?
Okay, I think so. Here we are just going to go fast. Let me give you an advice. Wrong, right, correct. Who wants to say something?
I think you can just unmute and then say.
Yeah, if you want to answer, you can just go ahead.
I think I wouldn't say okay. It sounds like Ghanaian English, so I wouldn't say it's wrong per se. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily wrong because just like how we have American English or UK or Australian, and some things they say might sound very wrong, but it's something they say in Australia or in US or something. I feel like the same thing, but yes, it sounds like Ghanaian English. Let me give you an advice.
Okay.
I'm in truthful.
All right. So the word advice is ¿cómo se llama? Is an uncountable noun, right? So you don't put an indefinite article. So the correct form should be, let me give you some advice. Some advice. Okay, one of my friend live here.
One of my friends lives here.
Okay, one of my friends, plural, lives because of one here.
One, right.
I don't speak good.
I don't speak well.
I don't speak well. It is so nice place.
Maybe it is such a nice place, or
It is such a nice place. It is a nice place. Yeah. They talked for 2 hours.
They spoke. They spoke for 2 hours.
There's what? I think someone is trying to
they
speak.
spoke.
Is it correct? Is it wrong?
English left the group.
Please, I think it's correct.
Yeah, it is. The
Yeah, it's
technology is
correct.
changing rapidly. The technology is changing rapidly. So over here, the only thing that is wrong is the article. You don't need an article here. Technology
wait,
is,
but can I ask a question? The
yes,
technology is changing rapidly. I think it can, like, yes, under normal circumstances, the there shouldn't be there. But I think in specific circumstances, like if you are referring specifically to a technology, maybe a
Okay.
specific
exactly.
place or something, then you can use the technology.
Exactly,
Yeah,
but this is
Adam.
a general statement. So normally, general statements, you do not need an article. Girls are wicked, for example.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, man, for example.
some girls say this again.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. T Hetty.
Okay.
Okay, so what is fluency, or what does it mean to be fluent? We are saying over here that if you have the ability to express yourself easily, right, naturally. So for example, if I engage you in a language, you should be able to respond without having to prepare a note or something like that. Then you have some level of fluency, right? When you are comfortable in expressing yourself in most situations, in most cases, not in all cases. Because, for example, if I bring you a topic on law, right, and then you do not have any, what's the name, words, right, that are typical of law, and you are not able to express yourself, it doesn't mean that you do not have fluency, right? Or you are not fluent. You should be able to comfortably understand what is being said, right? I remember in level 200 when we had a lecturer called Belen. I don't know if you guys know her.
Yeah.
Very strict. Belen introduced this listening to audios and answering questions. And in the first week, it was like we were listening to something from I don't know where. No one could understand anything. So I remember sitting down, listening to the same voice over and over again, right? Just to be comfortable. And with time, I began to grasp some words, to understand what they say, even though it wasn't all, right? So you should be comfortable understanding what is being said. So here, fluency is your familiarity with the language and how comfortable you are with that language. Miss Hetty?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, this is the next one.
Yes.
Okay, so how do we get to any level of fluency at all? So I have here 4 points. there may be more points, but let's look at them. You have to read your materials to understand concepts. I'm going to explain that. You learn how to form very short, simple sentences. You have to learn a lot of vocabulary. You have to practice speaking, especially. Miss Hetty? So the first one I was mentioning about the resources. For example, if you are learning a language, you want to get a book that talks about grammar. People think that it is not so important, but mind you, what you speak is mostly grammar. So if you don't know the conjugation of a verb, then you are stuck. You cannot say anything because there's absolutely nothing you can say in 1, 2, 3 sentences that you will not need a verb. So you look at the set of rules for the use of words, pronouns, nouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, and those stuff, right? And you learn the conjugation. There are so many tenses depending on the language that you speak. I know French has a lot of tenses. I know Spanish has, English has, and even English has subjunctive, but people do not know that English has the subjunctive form, but it does. And there are languages that do not have conjugations, right? I am told that Chinese, for example, you don't need any conjugation. You use the temporal, this thing, a temporal item, so that whatever you are saying, people understand that, okay, it is in the present, it is in the past, or it will be in the future, right? Another language like Thai, like Maya, spoken in some Latin American countries, Vietnamese, Greenlandish, those languages, you do not need conjugation. But the languages that we speak, whether it is Ga, whether it is Fanti, Dagomba, I think that you need some kind of conjugation.
Did I mute you? Okay. Habib, can you unmute yourself? I mistakenly muted you. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the next. Okay, so we've looked at the resources. What the vocabulary, how do you go about it? I don't believe in people who want to learn everything in a day. Every single thing they want to learn in a day. It's not possible. Look, realistically, if you look at the number of words we use in any language, those words are not many, realistically. So imagine that you set yourself that in a year, which is 365 days, I'm going to learn 365 words in this particular language that I'm learning. So by the end of the year, you have 365 words. You don't use more than that under normal circumstances, right? So you start learning language and vocabulary words on school, because we are students and we go to school, we see a lot of stuff. Oh, what is the name of this thing? Okay, today I learned it. What is the name of the other one? Tomorrow, that's what I'm going to learn. You understand? So by the end of the year, you would have gotten 365 words. Or if you want to even make it a bit difficult for you, 2 words a day, and you are progressing. Don't learn 20 words in a day, and at the end, you are not even able to remember one, right? So you have to know that, okay, I'm learning this today, tomorrow, but just make sure you are consistent on that. Now, something like home. At home, we have a lot of objects. What is the name of a torchlight? What is the name of a table? What is the name of this, or carpet? You understand? One after another, you learn, right? But going, okay, at home, there are 50 items and you want to learn it at once or in a week, you end up forgetting almost everything, right? Something like a classroom. What are the objects I see, the objects I see in a classroom? In a city, what are them? What are those items in a market, in a supermarket? And you know what you want to learn, but just make sure that you do not overburden yourself by learning so much in a day or in a week that you end up not learning anything at all. Let's move on.
Okay.
So whilst you do that, let me just mention, whilst you do that, if you are learning words, you make sure that you type them or you write them, right? So that you have a reference point, and whenever you forget and you have to go back, you just know that, okay, I wrote it over here, let me go check again, right? Now, forming sentences, every language has the way its sentences are formed. So how English and accepts that a sentence should be formed, a normal sentence. I'm not talking about poetic sentences. I'm talking about normal sentences. Is that you, for example, have a subject, I, a verb, am, and an object, something like that, right? Other languages may be different. French goes the English way. Je suis, then whatever follows will follow, right? But a language like Arabic, the verb has to come first. I don't know if someone speaks Arabic here, but if you, for example, Kataba, that's the verb. Muhammad ila madrasa. So Muhammad is the object, and what's the name? Muhammad is the subject. Kataba, which I mentioned first, is a verb. Muhammad is the subject, and what follows is the object. So you see how it is arranged. So depending on the language, it may be whatever you are saying using your English may be wrong or it may be right. There are languages that are very flexible, like Spanish, where you can bring the verb first. Sometimes you do not even need the object because in the verb, you already know what object, what the subject is. Sorry, I'm talking about the subject.
I don't want the car to be in front of me.
Minette, I've heard your voice. I've heard your voice now. Miss Hetty, my destiny has disappeared. So I was saying that Spanish is flexible, where you can start with the verb, the subject, object. You can start with the subject, the verb, and the object. So languages like Spanish is really flexible.
All right.
Miss Hetty?
Do you have it now? Oh my. Lo siento. Enemy.
Okay. So Spanish, sometimes the subject is not even necessary. Okay, now we come to, for me, the most important aspect, because when you tell someone that, oh, I study English in school, or I study French or Spanish, English, Chinese, Arabic, the first thing, if the person can also speak that language, the first thing the person will do is to engage you in a conversation, right? So the person is not going to say, oh, this is my book, right? And let me see. The first thing the person will do is to engage you in a speaking practice, right? Where you have to speak. So I discovered this technique called the walking technique, because mostly if we decide that, oh, this is the hour from 8 to 9, I'm going to learn Spanish, I'm going to speak Spanish, and you sit down and you just repeat it, it is boring, right? You sit in front of your TV or your laptop and you just repeat, it gets boring. So this walking technique, what you do is you listen, right, while you walk. So if it is, I don't know, a program or a recording that someone sent you in Spanish, whilst you are walking, you are listening to it. Now, here what happens is you are walking, which is a different exercise, and you are listening. So two things at a time. So if you are able to understand or to get whatever is being said, then it will be better. It will better stick in your head. But if you are just sitting down and you are not that active, it gets boring. You are not able to really grasp. But again, I'm saying this from my perspective. It may be different for other people. So you have to know yourself and know what works for you. Then you have to repeat familiar short sentences. Someone is speaking so much on, I don't know, something, school. The person is talking about where he goes to school, what he does after school, the lecturers, the students, whatever. And by all means, you hear a few short sentences that you already are familiar or that are not so complicated. So you try to repeat them. Repetition makes sure that your tongue becomes, I don't want to say, it becomes accustomed to whatever is being said, right? Okay, so that's why people can sing even in languages that they cannot speak, right? Because you repeat, and then it just sticks there. Not because you can speak the language, but because you kept repeating, right? And those phrases or sentences that you do not understand, words that you do not understand, make sure that you look them up. in a dictionary. Now you have phones, you just type, oh, what is the meaning of this word? Even though sometimes you need context, right? So when someone asks me, what is the meaning of a word? The first thing I ask the person is, what is the context? Because which word? Table can mean so many different things, right? I have a table, right? I am at the table. Things like that, it can change the meaning. So you have to be careful when you are looking for the meaning of words.
Okay.
Okay, so the four steps that we discussed, looking at resources to learn grammar, set of rules, vocabulary, right? Speaking. Those steps that we've mentioned are the steps that you have to follow if you are to get to any level of proficiency. But then if you want to go a bit higher, intermediate, advanced, what do you do? In addition to, you do not leave those four steps. In addition to those steps, what you have to do is that you have to minimize how often you use your language, your first language. So English is already a language that you speak. So learning Chinese or Russian, you have to make sure that you start using more Russian. Initially, it is a horrible experience because you'll be struggling to form sentences, you'll be struggling to express yourself, but it is okay. Keep doing that. Sometimes you can sit there thinking about, oh, which word? Maybe it is just one simple word, but it is not coming. Yes, that's how you learn. It is uncomfortable. It is a horrible experience, but you need that if you are to get to a higher level of proficiency. Okay. So allow yourself to make mistakes. People are so much afraid of making mistakes. That is one thing I noticed about language learners in Ghana, where we do not want to speak because apparently, oh, in our class there are francophones. They will laugh at us. There are, yes, because it is a problem. So you see that a lot of French students in Ghana, they end their 4-year study and they cannot speak French.
Yeah.
It is a bit uncommon with Spanish because Spanish students who learn Spanish have this pride that, yeah, Spanish, we are there. So they want to speak, they want to show off. You understand? So even if the person is not saying anything meaningful, the person is still trying to say it. Yeah, because Spanish, I mean, who can speak Spanish? But there's this, what is the word? Associated with learning French. Because once you can speak French in Ghana, people think, oh, there's a chance this person is a Togolese.
Yeah.
There's a chance this person is from Ivory Coast.
So
But
true.
Or
you the one learning
yeah.
Spanish. You know that the closest they can say is that, oh, there's a chance this person is from Spain. Already, yeah, you know Spain. Yeah, I'm not a small girl. So you try to speak. So I'll encourage all of us, whatever language we are learning, try to speak. If you do not speak, I bet you end up having, maybe you've even learned about 1,000 vocabulary, but to form one simple sentence will be so difficult for you. Give yourself a chance to speak with people you know can speak the language. Look, Henrietta is not perfect. Neither am I. We are all learning. We make a lot of mistakes. Sometimes you can be looking for a word to say something and it will never come. And we've been learning, I started learning Spanish in 2017, I think September, my first year at the university. But yes, I can still not say some things. I still say things with mistakes. When I chat with my friends who are natives from Latin American countries or Spain, they correct me. And that's how you learn. Okay? Do not be afraid to make mistakes. Make them, you are corrected, and then you learn from those mistakes. Things like Hello Talk, which is unpaid, right? or where you have the opportunity to have an exchange with another student. Things like that will really help you. For those of you who have been studying Spanish for quite some time, you are now in your level 400 or 300, you can try that, okay? Speak with natives, get yourself a tutor, someone who can guide you, who has gone through the path and can guide you on what to do. Because look, language is the next big thing. I'm telling you, language is something that will easily get you opportunities, get things opened for you, right? So do not joke with the language you are learning. Miss Hetty, is she there or we've lost her? We've lost a good one.
You have not lost me. I'm found.
Oh, there's nothing attached to this.
Yeah.
So now, after all that we've said, what can you guys tell me? Is fluency attainable? Is it something that we can turn into a reality, or it will just be there as a myth? Because mind you, these processes are they are difficult to follow, but once you say, okay, I'm going to do it, I'm going to follow the process, then you're going to get a lot of fruit, a lot of benefits from it. So you tell me, is there anyone Kizzy wants to say something? Yeah, Kizzy?
Okay, so first of all, as you said, it depends on the person's definition of fluency.
Yeah.
So achieving fluency is possible. Yes, it just depends how, should I say, high or basic your fluency is. Yes, and some people think that being fluent means being equal to being a native speaker. It's not really. It's just another level of fluency, but just because you try to sound like a native speaker doesn't necessarily mean you're fluent. Because there are people who can learn how to sound like native speakers, but they don't actually speak the language or they don't actually understand the language. So there are two different things. Yes, that was honest. So I think actually fluency is possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Thank you so much for your contribution. Look, when I was in level 200, we had a TA. He had just returned from year abroad. I think that when we were in 200, they used to go to Cuba, and they were talking. All the TAs who had come from year abroad were talking, and he said that, look, and he was one of the best students, because going to Cuba meaning that you were one of the best students in your class, right? And he said that he can't speak. He said he couldn't speak because for him, he had only learned grammar, and he can form sentences, he can answer questions written, but speaking, he wasn't able to. This is someone who had been to Cuba for the last, I don't know, 10 months or 11 months, probably 12 months. You understand? And for those of you who have been for a year, but you know how effective it is. In level 100, I had a friend, her name Yvette. Yvette couldn't speak French. With all humility, I'm saying it because I want to give an example. But Yvette went for a year abroad in France, came back, and the first time she engaged me in a conversation, I was like, oh, yes, it is effective. People think that going for a year abroad is not effective.
Yeah.
Well, it won't be effective for you if you go and then it is just traveling and partying, right? But if you really go there to learn, of course, you make a lot of gains. And of course, it doesn't also mean that those who do not go for a year abroad are not as good. This is Miss Hetty that I always use that as an example, who didn't go for a year abroad, but who is equally as good as any other Spanish student. So there's no excuse. I didn't get the opportunity to go for a year abroad. Yes, but you can still speak the language in Ghana and provide yourself an opportunity just like she did for herself. All right. So I think that now we can go to more if someone wants to contribute something. I'm not talking about money if I say contribution, right? If someone wants to ask a question or say something, I think that it is now time for that.
Hey, no one has
So okay,
um,
okay, I have a contribution.
Okay.
Okay, thank you,
Is
Habib.
it Priscilla? The Priscilla?
No, Veronica.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Okay, so I want to add something. What you said about having to forget some of the things in Spanish, even though you've been studying Spanish. For me, it's the same, because you don't have to know every word or everything in this, like, okay, French language to be able to speak. You just have to work with what you have. You know how to say manger or conjugate manger in French. Okay, so be using je mange, or you can say whichever thing you want. So, and learning only vocabulary also doesn't help. Only just the vocabulary. So maybe chanter or danser. Only that one, it won't work. Try to form sentences. Like, try to know the common words you use in your everyday activities. Maybe I wake up, I watch television, I visit my friends, I talk to my friends, I go to school, all those ones. Learn those simple sentences, and then you can build up. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Miss Veronica. And I think that what you say is something really important. Mind you, in my presentation, I even said, right, that if you are to analyze critically, the number of words that you use to speak a language are not many, right? They are not many. So this is again what Veronica is emphasizing on. The few words, the few vocab that you have, use them. Just use them. Say anything that may seem meaningless to you, but you will be getting yourself on the level of, at least the lowest level of proficiency, okay, or fluency. Yeah,
okay,
I can see Dorcas Apaplo.
Hello.
Is that the Dorcas I know?
Yeah. No, it's easy. My hand was up for a while.
Oh, okay. Kizzy?
Okay,
Okay,
so
let's go.
contribution. When you were talking about vocabulary and learning the common words, I also learned this thing from a YouTuber. So you can like common things around the house, like you could get paper and pen and actually stick it on the thing, like the maybe common things like the TV, the mirror, the bed, whatever it is, and write it in the language and then. So you then, without having to consciously pick up your book or your dictionary to look up whatever it is. So you know that it's this, it's that kind of thing. And also about learning vocabulary, it's best to learn it in sentences because when you learn words like in isolation, you are least likely to remember them versus if it's in a sentence, actually. And also, I don't know if you already mentioned, maybe you mentioned the earlier part and I missed it, but also to improve your listening or understanding, you could actually listen to videos that are made for beginners because even though all the speaking and the rest are good, if I can speak but I don't understand what you're saying, then what's the point? Because you can focus on speaking, you can focus on vocabulary. But at the end of the day, if you are going to reply to me and I don't even understand the plenty Spanish or the plenty French you're saying, so what's the point of me speaking to sound like I'm fluent? So that one is also, I think, very important that you have to actually understand the language. Then you can move on to speaking.
Yeah.
That's also what I
okay.
want to say. And also, when you listen to those videos that are for beginners, when you find a word you don't understand, look for the word in the sentence. So you take that sentence and then that one word in the sentence to understand, then learn it. Because I think you mentioned forming short sentences. I don't know if you meant like as a beginner, we should now form short sentences. But personally, I think as a beginner, you don't yet have a grasp of the language to form like proper sentences. So it's better to take it from native media or from whatever thing you're learning and then learn it from that context. Then when you become better, intermediate, and as you get better, then you can start like forming your own sentences, knowing that it's at least correct. Because when you're a beginner and you're just forming anything, you'll be forming weird sentences that do not sound natural, and maybe you're not even arranging it well, or maybe the context you put it in, you don't yet have such a good understanding of it to know that the context you put it in is kind of wrong. Or like, yeah, for all you know, you're even literally translating it, but you don't yet recognize it as a beginner. That's the thing. As a beginner, you're lost. So that's what I would
Okay.
say. Thank you.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you. Dorcas, I see your hand
Please
is.
hold on before we move on.
Okay.
I think I agree with what Kizzy is saying and all, but I also want to add something that what Habib was saying that form sentences. For example, if you've learned, let's say, conjugations, you've learned how to use être. You know that je suis, tu es, il est. So now, je suis, you yourself, you sit down. What do I want to say? I want to say I am a girl. Or I want to say I am this. So you sit down and try to construct it on your own. So I think that was the perspective from which Habib was coming from, that, okay, you have the basics, you know how to conjugate, you know this. Now you know the vocabulary for this. So now let me sit down and try to put them together. So I think you can do them hand in hand as you are listening to these YouTube things. Are you getting more input, as Kizzy was talking about? You also try to make the effort to do it yourself. You don't necessarily need to get to the intermediate level before you try to form sentences. Once you start by forming. So the day that you even learn conjugation, that day, go sit down and start to form sentences on your own. You don't have to wait till you get to intermediate level, or you want to wait to get better. So sit down, try to form sentences. So I want to do this on my own. If I want to say this, how do I want to say it? And I think that will also help. So I think the two go hand in hand.
Yes, I was waiting for other questions, then I'll just combine everything to answer. So let's get more questions.
Okay.
But thank you very much. I think that's what I would have said.
All right.
Dorcas.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Habib, for
your
your presentation. Okay, so like everyone has made a great contribution. And then I think I have a little to add with the forming sentences. So those of us in school, we have TAs, we have like professors, or some of us might have friends that we know they are also learning the language, and then maybe they have more knowledge than we do. So sometimes when you form the sentences, you can show it to them, and then you're like, hey, can you go through what I've done? Is that correct or not? I have friends who are native speakers of Spanish. And then, so sometimes I want to say something and then I type it and I'm like, okay, do we say this or we say this? Like, I want you guys to clarify. And then they correct me because they are native and then they know more than I do. Okay. And then I also want to add something to it. So sometimes I'm like, okay, so what do you like to do best? Do you like to listen to music? Do you like to watch movies? What do you like? What do you enjoy doing? So try to start doing those things in the language you are learning. So instead of always listening to English songs, try to listen to the songs in Spanish or French or Chinese or whatever language. Mostly what I do is, if I like a song in English and then I just go to YouTube and type the same song in Spanish or in French. I remember the first time I did that, it was French. It's like I heard literally nothing from the song, but I kept playing the song and then I started picking up words and then sentences. I didn't want to like just say, oh, because I didn't understand anything, I'm not going to play the song again. So I kept playing and then I started picking up words, and then as time goes on, I could understand sentences, and then it was just moving on. So I just want to encourage everyone that's okay. Whatever you like, enjoy doing, try to do it in the target language, the language you are learning. It will also help you to improve. And then once you are listening to music or watching movies, it also boosts your listening skills. At the same time, learning how to construct sentences and learning new vocabularies and stuff. Yeah, so that's a little I wanted to add to it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Nuchu, I don't know if I'm mentioning it right. Nuchu?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. Please, my question is, some of us are just language learners. We are not pursuing it in the university. I'm studying accounting, but I took the opportunity to study Spanish and then French on Duolingo. But it seems getting friends to interact with has become difficult because I'm not pursuing these courses in the school. So sometimes I go on Facebook and try to make some friends so that I can try and interact with them. But sometimes you do that, then within 2 or 3 weeks, you lose contact with them. Sometimes you text them and then you are not getting them. So it makes the language difficult. How best do you think I can go about this? Thank you.
All right. So I think that this comes with what Enriqueta said earlier. Miss Hetty, you don't know her with her.
You opened my name in the casket.
Right. So I'm sure that from here, Miss Hetty will get your details. If it's your email or your contact, then we'll link you with someone that could be of help to you. Someone you can practice the language with. Yeah, but this exists, right? There's been a couple of times people get in touch with me, but maybe because of my schedule or something, I lose contact and I'm not able to respond. But I'm sure Miss Hetty will make sure she gets someone for you,
Yeah,
right?
I think just a quick one. That's one of the reasons why we are coming together so that we can I don't know if you came to meet my presentation from the beginning, but I was talking about the fact that we intend to create chat groups so that you can have people, let's say we have sessions, you have people with whom you can just talk, because not everyone has the school setting to have people to chat with. A lot of people come to me and they say they don't have anyone to practice with, and that's their challenge. So we are also planning on that, and we have you in mind, okay? So we'll talk about that later. Habib.
Amanda. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. And Nuchu, thank you for asking that question. That was like top of my questions. So glad. Yeah, I want to ask a question. And I think Miss Hetty even addressed it on one of her posts on LinkedIn. I have been learning French from the basic level, and I learned English and French at the university level. But somewhere during the COVID, I discovered, I have been privy to Spanish and Spanish content, but I fell in love with Spanish and I decided to learn the language proper. So I started, and then, it's just been like, I'm enjoying the ride so far. But like Nuchu said, I don't have friends that I practice it with. And language is susceptible to forgetfulness. When the less you practice, the more you forget it. So that's like one of the reasons why I reached out to Miss Katie. But my question is that how do I better my French speaking skills? Because I can read this French and I can write it, but I can't speak it, and like if my mind, there's just a whole lot going on. I just, so when we write it and the lecturer analyzes it, he goes, yeah, this is correct, but I can't put it in words. And I've been learning this since primary. And that I just look into it and see I am so good at that. So yeah, please, how do I go about it?
Very good. Thank you very much for your question. Miss Amanda, do you feel shy speaking French?
I think yes. Yes.
You are afraid they will call you a Tigray.
I think it's not really about shyness. I think it's about being scared to make mistakes, kind of. Yeah, it's not about shy. Maybe I'm being scared. I'm scared to make mistakes. Yeah. And also, I don't even have people around me that I can practice it with. So the basic ones that I have, it's like nobody, if I even said the wrong thing, nobody's there to correct me or,
Right. So here, yours will also fall in the category of neutral, needing someone to practice your French with. But I think that you just do not have to be shy of or afraid of making mistakes, right? If you don't make any mistake, then you are not going to improve. Okay, so feel free now that you are in touch with us, we can be practicing. We started learning Portuguese recently, myself
me, it's
and
been a
Miss
month.
Hetty, and then we call and then we speak it. Even though we know that it's not perfect, we make a lot of mistakes. Wherever we see that we cannot get the word, then we switch to any language, whether English or Spanish.
Yeah.
So just make mistakes. Don't look, that person you are thinking that will laugh at you or make fun of you, that person cannot speak your English. The person cannot speak your Fanti, your Tree, your Ga, right? But mostly we don't see those languages, our Ghanaian languages, as languages, but they are languages, right? And so you have to be proud that, okay, I'm learning a new language, I'm making an effort to learn another language, and mistakes are part of the learning process. Okay?
Hello,
I
please.
see
I'm
you're
sorry.
laughing. Yeah.
I have a question for Amanda.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask that does she also listen, like watch movies and other things in French? I just wanted to know if that's also if she also does that.
Yes, I do. I actually have like a lot of French and Spanish songs on my phone. So I
But
do
what about
listen.
movies, like movies, YouTube videos,
So,
those kind of things?
so for the movies, I usually watch with the subtitles in French, but not with the audio.
You don't watch with the audio in French?
Yes, but I watch with the subtitles in French.
I'm thinking that might be part of the problem because naturally when you hear the language, you will want to speak it. Like I don't know, I'm sure Hetty and Miss Hetty and Mr. Habib can attest to that. Like when you hear the language like in a movie in the natural context, you naturally want to like speak it. I think that might be part of your problem, apart from the other factors mentioned. That might be part of it. You should try listening to actual French movies because even at the end of the day, just saying that if you get someone to speak to and they respond to you, would you be able to understand? That's the thing. So what I want to ask is that I think you should also maybe also work on that. You can listen to movies in French. And so that's why your reading is very good. Your reading is very good, your writing is very good because you read a lot. So you're therefore able to output what you've read, right? Because you read well, you read a lot. So you're able to output, you're able to should I say quote unquote copy what you've read and then output it really well and write French really well. That's the same thing for listening and speaking. That's part of it. If you can listen, you hear something hundreds of times, you will naturally output the exact same thing. So that I think that also might be part of your problem. That's just what I want to say. Thank you.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're
I think the one who just spoke is Kizzy, right? Kizzy.
yeah, easy.
Yes. And I remember in level 200 when Miss Belen gave us this audio to listen to.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the audio is something, but the next sentence, the very next sentence is something like, en un conversación, el señor Alfonso se tomaba despacio el café. So this is a sentence that I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know the words, but because it was so nice to me to I listened and listened to it until I got what they were saying. En un conversación, el señor Alfonso se tomaba despacio el café. So you reading, you improve your reading, but not listening, you are not going to get the improvement there. So what Kizzy said, you have to listen to it in French, whether you understand everything or no matter how many times you have to you have to watch that movie, keep doing it. You see that the next time you watch it, you get some words that you didn't get in the first time, right? So you keep doing that, and then you improve. But again, Miss Hetty will get you in touch with someone, and then Rabi, is it Rabi?
Please, can we be also quick with our questions, because some of us need to go for
Yeah,
class.
let's hurry up with our
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hello everyone.
Hi,
Um,
one.
so for me, from my personal experience, and then from what I'm hearing here, I think everything comes back to practice. Practice, because if
Yeah.
I'm learning the vocab, I'm doing my grammar and all that, I'm good with the reading, like I can form good sentences, and then I'm not in that environment. Like nothing is forcing me to, do more. I feel that you may improve like a little, but it's not going to be that effective. Because if you are in that situation where like there's nothing you can do, the vocabs you have, and you have to think on your feet, you have to speak it, like it will come. That's when you know that you had vocab, like you could even do what you didn't know you could do. You understand? But here's the case, some of us didn't get the chance to go for the year abroad, but that is also effective. And then we don't have people to be speaking with all the time, because not everyone is busy. You might be free right now, but the friend you are going to speak with is not available. What are you going to do? You're only going to depend on the movies, your notebooks, your vocabs, and all that. You understand? So it still comes back to practice. I mean, for me personally, from my experience, like being in the environment has been very effective for me, because it's like you have no choice than to start thinking, like try. And with time, you get confident, because in the beginning, you would be afraid, like, hey, I'm going to make mistakes and all that. But then if you don't make mistakes, you're not going to progress. So, yeah, that's what I have to say.
All right. Thank you very much.
For me,
Thank
the
you very much.
environment.
But I think that I mentioned Miss Hetty as an example of someone who didn't get that environment, as we call it, like about going to Cuba or Spain. But this is Miss Hetty here. She speaks Spanish, right? Quite well. So if we focus on the fact that we are not in a Spanish speaking country, then we are not going to learn.
Yeah.
Look, just all of us, we stayed there. That is where we learned Spanish. And you come up,
Wait,
you
Mr.
are
Habib,
abroad.
please, can I say something?
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I mentioned that from my experience, I'm not saying you have to go for a year abroad first. There are people here who have studied it, and then like they are fluent. Some are even fluent than those who even went for the year abroad. So I am saying it's practice. Let's say I want to practice, but it's not effective. I don't have someone to be speaking with, or my friends are not ready to speak it with me. It's not effective. We are only depending mostly on the movies, on maybe a friend online, and then it's not an everyday something. It's not something that you do most of the time to make you improve. That's what I'm saying, the environment. So it could be that maybe at your workplace, you have people to speak with. Maybe initially when you started working, you were not fluent, but then with time, you get to try and then speak, and then they correct you and all that. You come around. You understand? So I'm not talking about just here abroad. There are people who go for year abroad, but their fluency level is not up to someone who studied it here. So I don't know if you get me.
Yeah. And the first time you spoke, I thought you said practice.
Yeah, I heard something like that.
Yeah, so that's why I answered it that way. But you are talking about practice. It's good. So we just have to you also get someone, right, that you'll be in touch with, and then you get the chance to practice.
I think I'll add something little to it. If you have read my blog, I have something called self-practice, and that is one way by which I learned. Not everyone will have the time for you that, please, let's talk. Not everyone has that time for you. So you have to create the environment for yourself. And I think this is one of the things we'll talk about. Okay. Not everyone will say, there are some friends when you try to even speak the language, you are all learning the language in the class, but they will say that, oh, pray. Someone I know someone who lost their interest in the language. Someone who used to really talk in class. I talked about this on LinkedIn the last time. And then he just went mute, stopped talking in class because someone said, oh, pray. So there are some times where you want to make the effort, but people or circumstances will not give you the chance. What do? You still want to learn the language. So there are some things that you have to do. And that's what I call self-practice. Maybe you can check my blog and then read on how you can practice with yourself and by yourself without even needing anyone. Though needing people is also part. But there are some times where you have to take it upon yourself. No one wants to speak with me. What can I do? I have to make effort. That's self-practice. And that's one of the ways by which you can really, really learn. It has really worked for me. And I hope it will work for you too. We will talk more, okay? And I think we'll take note of some of your grievances, your doubts and everything. And then we will intentionally take them and as a topic and then discuss them. All right. Okay.
All right, Miss Hetty, I think that there are a lot of questions in the chat. I don't know if you can. But Amanda, you've spoken, so let's take Beryl. Is it Beryl? Yeah.
Beryl.
Beryl, okay. Are you there, Beryl?
It's the group.
Yes, please, I'm here.
Okay.
Please, I wanted to know. Please, I wanted to know if there are other techniques you could use in like listening to podcasts aside the walking technique, because I tried it once and then I almost got knocked by a car. So I want to know if there are other techniques to listening to podcasts. Because sitting down, as you said, is boring. Yes. So I tried it walking and then it still did not work for me.
Miss Hetty?
I didn't get the question. No.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah, she said that, I also couldn't really, she said that podcasts, listening to podcasts, how effective is it? Because she has tried it before and it didn't work for her. So she wants to know if there's anything like that can help her
No,
with that.
I'm saying the walking technique at the beginning. I think there was a technique like walking and listening.
Yeah. Listen
But
while you walk.
I tried it and then I almost got knocked by a car because I was concentrating on what they were
Sorry.
I mean, well, that technique, you can use it, but you have to be careful because our truck drivers, they are not correct. And someone will knock you and say, oh, and the person will insult you, Kosia. So, I mean, language learning is something that is personal, right? You look at yourself and you look at those ways that you can use that fits you, because it's not like a single thing fitting every person, right? It is something that works for you. If you think that a walking technique doesn't work for you, then try to ask yourself, what works for me?
Sleeping technique.
Is it sleeping? The sleeping technique? Is it maybe, I don't know. So you have to look at yourself. But again, you can get in touch with Hetty or myself, and then we'll talk in detail, and then we see what helps you. Okay. Amanda again. Amanda, your last question or your last contribution.
Yes, my last question. Thank you very much, Nasir. I, unlike most of the people on the call, I didn't learn Spanish in school, and I happen to be so interested in it. In fact, I'm very invested in it. I would like to know what my prospects are in terms of furthering in it. Like, if I want to do a master's in it, is it possible? And what are some of the possible courses I can enroll in? Like, yeah.
Are you talking about, are you a student of the University of Ghana or any university in Ghana?
I'm out of school at the moment, but
okay,
I'm looking at maybe in furthering my studies. Since I'm a language student,
yeah,
I would like to learn Spanish more. So I don't know if not having
exactly which language did you learn in school?
I learned English and Spanish. English and French.
Okay, so what I know is when you are applying to a school abroad, they ask the relation that the program you are applying to the program you just completed in your undergrad. So in this case, if you have English and French, maybe the first thing to do is to apply for a French program. And when you come, I don't know if you'll be able to switch immediately, or you have to finish your graduate, MA French before you can do Spanish. Or whilst you do your French, you can take some classes in the Spanish department to keep your Spanish level until you finish your master's in French. Then if you want, you branch totally to another master's in Spanish, because you cannot just apply to a program your undergrad has nothing to do, right? I don't know if Miss
And I
Hetty
think
has a
with
different-
with language, what they ask for, they will ask you like we should have like they give some number of years. I think you have to show a record that you studied that language for like 3 years or something.
Yeah.
Or I don't know whether you can show a certificate to prove your proficiency or something. But I see it's very rare. I've not yet seen anyone who just, in fact, those with whom I'm in the same program, all of them did their undergrad in Spanish. But I know someone who just got admitted, who did her undergrad in linguistics and Chinese. But for her, I think she learned some Spanish in the basic school, and also at least she had some records that, oh, I learned Spanish for this number of years or something.
So in this case, if you are going to apply to a school, the first thing to do is for you to send them an email.
Yes.
Say that, okay, I have this, my undergrad was in English and French, but I want to do Spanish. Am I eligible to apply? Right. So mostly that one too works.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think you should be able to have some proficiency, because when you come to teach, you will be a graduate student, a graduate teaching assistant, and you can't come, they can't put you in a class where you don't have the proficiency to teach. So you have to prove your proficiency. Maybe in one of these proficiency tests, you have to write them and show that at least you have some high level, and then you can be able to take classes. Yeah. All right.
I think that the questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Any further questions we are
Plenty questions here. Okay, someone is saying that, is it advisable to learn 2 target languages simultaneously?
If you can do it, if you have the passion, right? Because it is difficult. I remember writing exams in Spanish, and I will go and find some French words, or vice versa, right? So it is sometimes confusing, but it is not impossible, right? People have done it before, and you can also do it. Is it advisable? Me, I'll say yes, because the more languages you speak, the better.
Yeah, and I think we've been able to do it, learning French and Spanish at the same time. I think someone has put there that it's very confusing. And yes, it's very confusing. If you don't make try to create a balance in both languages, you get confused. You are speaking, and mostly the one that you love most is the one that you tend to speak more. So let's say you love the Spanish most. So now when you are speaking the French, you'll be having more Spanish words in the French. And if you love the French more, you see you'll be speaking the Spanish, and then French words are entering. But it's at the basic level. You have to keep at it. And once you keep practicing, you get better. As we are studying Portuguese here, when we are answering questions, you have to answer questions in Portuguese. The teacher the professor is talking in Portuguese. You answer in Portuguese. We are always speaking Spanish words and in the Musa, but we have to speak. So it takes practice. And as you practice, you get better. Okay.
Yeah. Another question in the chat.
Someone was asking for movies. I think we can put more suggestions on the page for
Yeah.
them.
I think the rest of the questions should be forwarded to the B-Proficient group.
Yes,
and
please.
then
Yeah, and then we'll try to answer them.
Yeah.
Yes, please. You can put it there. Yeah. Some of us, we have to quickly go to class. Else. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, I think earlier, those who just joined, we spoke about subscribing to the other social media platforms of B-Proficient. So those who just joined, you can just quick, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, we are there. So search as B-Proficient and then subscribe, like, follow. Yeah. And the YouTube video will also be coming at the ending of this month. So expect it.
I think I'll add one more thing, that the recording will also be posted. So those who were not able to make it, the recording, we are looking at maybe posting it on YouTube or something so you can watch it. Please, these are social media handles. Kindly subscribe, like now.
Take out your
Yeah, I'm
phone.
seeing people subscribing. Yay. And people following. Yeah.
All right. Miss Hetty?
Okay. So I think we have come to another. What is next? Yeah.
Okay, yes. So next on the program outline, we have the vote of thanks by Miss Hetty.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we have come to the end, and we can all attest to the fact that it has been very interesting. It has been very interactive. We've seen that we all have challenges, and I want to thank you so much. Yeah. First of all, yes, we thank God because He gave us the vision to carry this on. We want to really thank God for His grace, and then also we have all been able to wake up to see this day. The speaker came very fit. He was able to go and pray in the morning and then come here. So we want to thank God so much. And then secondly, we also want to thank Habib, the speaker. Yeah, it's been so much back and forth, speaking here and there, talking on phone, doing this, trying to organize ourselves, checking documents, speaking to this person, and then he has been so helpful. I want to thank you so much, Habib, for taking time to speak to us. And everyone can attest to the fact that we have learned so much. Your knowledge, you've really poured a lot of. Vero was telling me your time is up. And I said, okay, will you please send him, this one that's let's say you have this kind of minutes more. And she was like, but what he's saying is important too. So I said, okay, then let's leave him to talk. Yeah, so we have really enjoyed your session. God bless you. Thank you so much. I have a mentor who also went through whatever that we also wanted to do, and though she's not here, I would have loved to come, but she's not here. She's called Dr. Fish. I thank her wherever she is. I also want to thank Vero. She has been very helpful, always saying yay, 3 days more and all that. She has been very helpful. I want to thank Seth. Seth is not here, he had to run away, but I really want to thank him. He was always checking up. Who else? There are a lot of people. I thank everybody, those who joined. Priscilla, you said the prayer. Thank you so much. Kizzy, thank you. Those who kept on sharing. People share my blogs. I really thank you all. Like, I'm really appreciative for everything that you have been doing so far. It's Gloria around. Gloria has really been pushing this, bringing her friends on board. And I've forgotten the school. I think University of Media and Communications, the languages department, they have really been helpful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And everyone who came, God really bless you. God really bless you. All right. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you all. Thank you, Miss Hetty.
Thank you, Habib,
All the
also.
participants. Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to the announcements. So the B-Proficient blog, you can search it, or we'll put the link in the WhatsApp group so that you can go and read and also share it with your friends. And then also we'll be dropping a link for a questionnaire on like any question. And those who were not able to ask their questions, you can put your question there when we share the questionnaire on the general feedback of the seminar and everything. So yeah, be expecting the link in the WhatsApp group. And if you've not joined the WhatsApp group, kindly go and join to have access to the numerous resources we'll be sharing. So moving on, can anyone pray in any foreign language, French, Spanish, Portuguese, anything, so that we bring the session to an end? Thank you.
Hey.
Hetty, I do want to put so
Kizzy will pray. Kizzy will pray.
Okay.
See, she's not there.
Hey, they've all left too.
No one wants to pray. And they will pray and let's go. Okay, Amanda wants to pray.
Yes, let me pray.
Okay.
Okay, we are praying. Querido Dios, te damos gracias por todas las bendiciones que derramas sobre nosotros. Bendice a nuestras familias y amigos y ayúdanos a vivir en amor. En el nombre de Jesús. Amén.
Amen. Gracias a todos. Je suis très reconnaissant. Alrighty. Adieu. Ciao.
Adios.
Adios.
Ciao. Au revoir.
Au revoir. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I forgot to mention you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Bye.
Oh.
Bye. Amen with the single one. Hmm.